live interview with Become a Fearless Father. And today I'm accompanied by Ryan Reger. Welcome, Facebook. Welcome, YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to have tons of fun. I'm very excited about this topic. We're going to mostly be talking about, and now I got to remember if I say it right, multiple online income streams. Right?
That works. It's the book's called Streams of Income, but it's about multiple online income streams for sure. Yes.
Exactly. And you know what? Actually, this is something that I am very excited about because this is now where I want my clients to look at first. Because what I did was I went straight into my entrepreneurial business. And in the beginning, I can tell you, it wasn't always that much fun. And I didn't look at giving value. I was looking at getting the money because I needed to feed the family. Well, now I know that if I had some multiple income streams, I would have been way more calm. So let's talk about that real quick. For those that don't know, what are multiple online income streams? What does that mean? Can you share us first that part?
Yeah, I mean, it's just multiple avenues of money coming in to your life. It could, I mean, you could have a job and that's paying the bills. And guys, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I know most people start there, but if your desire is to quit that job so you can be home with your family and be a stay-at-home dad, which I am so blessed to be able to do, then that my income has to come from somewhere. And so, guys, in this age of the internet, there's never been a time in the history of the world, in my opinion, where it's been easier to have a business, to start a business. And we can do this from anywhere in the world. I can literally be, Klaas, you're in Spain, right?
Yep.
So I could be in Spain with you, and my business still runs. It's totally not dependent on where I live. But guys, it's just literally having multiple income streams coming into your business. It can come from so many different ways, and we can dig into some of those ways that are some of the easiest to start for sure. But yeah, it's just having multiple streams of money essentially, and it's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And yes, we will definitely dive into all the different aspects. I want everybody that is on right now or hopping on after this live interview to hop off and say, wow, yes, I'm going to start with this type of multiple income stream. And we're going to dive exactly into how does one make a choice, right? What are the benefits of getting those multiple income streams? What can you do with it? You shared a little bit, but we're going to dive more into that. But before we dive into all of that, Ryan, share with us a little bit your background story. And as this is a show, especially for entrepreneurial dads, share with us your family status as well. Right?
Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And Klaas, thank you for having me on because I really feel like my heart is just like yours. It's for the dads that want to be home or want to spend more time. It's okay if you love your job, you feel like you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. That's great. For a lot of you though, it's a situation where you desperately want to be doing something different. You want to work from home and be there with your family. And so we'll talk about that. But my story, essentially, my business story starts in 2008 when I lost my job. I was working for a congressman in Indiana. The campaign that I was running, we lost that race. And so, which means I was out of a job as a campaign manager. And Klaas, stop me anytime. Feel free to interject. I don't want to just ramble, but I moved. The only thing I knew, only that two things were going to happen. There was only two certainties in my life at that time, that I was moving to Texas and I was getting married, because my wife is from here. I've been here since November of 2008. And I've always been entrepreneurial, loved business. Up until that time, had only kind of dabbled, done some eBay stuff. But when I got here to Texas, I didn't know what I was going to do. But my lowest hanging fruit, and I love this question. I love thinking about this. And when I talk to people, I ask them this question: what's your lowest hanging fruit? So what's right in front of you? And maybe it's something you don't even realize it's there. And that's what's fun, getting on calls with people and help them see that, hey, this is right there in front of your eyes. You could, this is an opportunity you could start tomorrow. For me, that was the furniture business that my mother-in-law and wife had started a few years earlier. It was just very part-time for them. I had no desire to do a furniture business, but it was the thing that was right in front of me, that they already had the logistics already in there, and they were selling it basically through Craigslist, putting ads up on Craigslist, and they had a wholesale supplier. So instead of the 1 and 2 ads per day that they were posting, I kicked it in high gear and put, several ads a day up. And in 2009, I just say this by God's grace, that we sold $250,000 worth of furniture just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, just on Craigslist. So our business exploded, and it didn't start that well. I mean, 2008, the end of 2008 was very, very slow. And then it slowly creeped up. And then, so by end of 2009, we're selling that much of furniture. So long story short, we dove into Amazon after that. We learned about fulfillment by Amazon, where we could deal with smaller things. Then I found my true passion back in about 2013, where I love helping people. And I wrote a book about selling wholesale on Amazon. Then I wrote a book about private label, or 2 books about wholesale, 1 about private label. And then that kind of exploded me into the teaching business that I now have. I still sell on Amazon, but my sweet spot, what my friend Dan Miller calls the sweet spot, is helping other people start and grow their business. And it's beyond Amazon too. I love helping people who don't even care about Amazon. Like, do they want to start a podcast, write a book, create a course? So that's kind of what I've been really focusing on over the last few years. I have a couple of groups where I teach people how to sell on Amazon. I have a group where I teach people who have a message on their heart, how to get that out to the world. Those are the main things. But and then, of course, my new book, Streams of Income, is now a podcast and a radio show here in Dallas. So yeah, my heart's for the dads. It really is. I mean, I have people all in my audience, all walks of life, male and female. But being a dad, I really want to bring dads home and give them the tools and resources they need to be able to quit that job if that's what they want to do. So many of them are unhappy. They go to a job they hate. They're stuck in traffic for an hour each way. Klaas, I listened to a podcast interview you were on with Brandon Handley. Is that the name sound right? And
that's possible.
You were saying that your father was drove an hour and a half in the train, an hour and a half each way.
Yep.
And so many people do that. And whether it's in a train or in a car, they have these long commutes to a job that they hate, and then they come back late. Their kids are almost ready to go to bed. They just have no time with their family except the weekends. I want to change that. And you're already doing that. But I want to do it from the business side, helping people start businesses that allow them to have that free time. So it's a long story about me, but that's my heart. And so
that's perfect.
I feel like I'm in the right place being on your podcast.
Exactly. No, you absolutely are. And the family setup real quick. You're married, you mentioned.
Yeah.
So living in Texas, and you guys have 1 or 2 kids.
We have one boy. He's 2.5 years old. His name's Callan. And so been married for 10 years and have 1 little boy.
Awesome. And real quick, so people can see this, I want to share this real quick. This is the website for Ryan. So if you want to get to know him better, want to see exactly what he's doing, check it out. It's in the comment section, people. So you can just click on the link and check it out right away. Even in the description area, there are some extra links there going straight to the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. I actually saw you got a pretty good list already, 1.5, 1.6 almost K, 1.6K subscribers. So that's pretty cool, man. I'm happy with my 120 at the moment. So
that's all right. I didn't start there. You slowly build up. And you guys can actually shorten that up. It's just ryanreger.com. I know it redirects to that pages.ryanreger.com, but it did. ryanreger.com is works too. So if you want to remember it later.
Awesome. Gee, I just copied it from the link.
Hey, that's no problem at all. No, that's great.
So let's dive in more in regards to, because what you mentioned is absolutely true, man. Now my dad was lucky. Like he absolutely loved what he did.
That's good.
And I think that made the hour and a half traffic, sitting in the train and coming back. I think he just was working anyway.
Right.
That's why he took the train, so he could work while sitting in the train. However, as you said, most fathers that work 9 to 5 are not that fortunate, unfortunately. And multiple income streams will definitely help you out to start. And what you said, right? It's a great way to start and then find your passion on that road, right? Especially when you're in that space of being miserable.
Yeah.
It's difficult to find that passion, find that purpose. However, once you're at home and you see like, hey, wait a minute, I'm making $100 here, $100 here. All of a sudden, I'm making $1,000 here, $1,000 there.
Yep.
You get more enthusiastic. Now you get in the right space. All of a sudden, you're like, wow, wait a minute. I like doing this. It's nice, but now I can do this. Like you're saying, like now I want to coach. I want to really focus, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
So share with us, man, how would somebody that's listening right now, how would that 9-to-5 father that's just been pumped, been drilled, I should say, drilled with, you should provide for your family, and providing means you got to work as hard as you can, as much as you can, bring it home. I learned this from Steve Larson the other day. Bring home the bacon. I've never heard that before. So how can they set that up? What would be your steps to start off with building that first online income stream?
Sure. It could look so many different ways, and each person is different. You guys that are listening, you may already know, you may have a tug on your heart for a certain business. You may already know the answer, what that thing is, but you just don't know what to do. Just get started. As you get started, you'll gain clarity. Clarity comes with taking action. If you're not really sure what to do at all, then in my opinion, the easiest business model to start is selling physical products online. And here's why I say that. Because you can get started with $0 and zero experience. And now I know there's a lot of great business models out there. Like there's network marketing where you can get started with a few dollars. And just a lot of people fail at that because they don't want to call up their friends and family and somebody you went to high school with 20 years ago. Hey, buddy, I haven't talked to you in 20 years, but hey, I wanted to talk to you about my business opportunity. You can get a click or a awkward silence on the other end. With this Amazon business or selling physical products online, you don't even have to talk to anybody if you don't want to. It's always better if you do. Relationships are built that way, and things come from relationships. But the majority of people who come to me and want to do some type of business on the side, I'm usually pointing them to selling physical products. And it's because the barrier to entry is so crazy low. You could go to a garage sale on Saturday, find enough product and ship it into Amazon, or maybe you're selling it on eBay, maybe you in Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. You can make some instant cash. Instant, like within a few days, you can be starting to make some money with a business model like this. You could go to a friend, if you have a friend maybe that has a garage full of items, or that person who has a house and they have a room of items that they've never touched in years, and if there's some good quality things in there, new or used, you could sell those for them. That's called consignment. So say, hey, Klaas, I'll take all that stuff that's in your house that's your wife's been, bugging you to get rid of. I will come over. I will take it all. I will put it up on eBay, on Amazon. I'll put it on Craigslist. I'll do Facebook Marketplace, and we'll split the profits. This costs me nothing but my time. You're happy because your wife's happy. Now you get the stuff out. You're going to get some money, and you didn't have to do any work. I'm happy because if I started with $0, now I have all this free inventory to sell and then build up my cash, and then I can start doing some other things with it. So that's why I tell people to start with physical products, because literally anyone can do it. There's people in my audience that are teenagers, and there's people in my audience that are senior citizens, people that are retired, and that even, they're all ages. I've seen so many, and people with physical disabilities, people that can't do shopping, that have to do it all from behind their computer. There's people with just so many excuses why it shouldn't work for them, and they make it work. And so that's where I tell people to start with physical products. But I know that may not be everybody's heart. That's not where what gets you really excited. Well, tell me, it's $500, $1,000 extra month. That's going to get you excited. And like, I love what you just said too, because then you start getting some money coming in. Then the pressure is taken off. And then you can start to think, what's really on my heart is to write this book. And then you can start going down that road. Takes a little bit longer to get going, to build up. You're not going to write a book and usually tomorrow have a few $1,000s in your bank account. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did. But selling physical products is something that somebody can get started now and see some income in just a few days. So that's why I usually point people that direction. Sorry for the long answer, but that's...
No. There's no such thing as a short or a long answer. There's only such a thing as a clear answer, so people know exactly, what you're talking about. And it was absolutely clear. So what are some of the challenges that people run into that you teach them beforehand to say, like, okay, yeah, this might be a challenge, this might be a challenge, so they are aware of making sure they become successful as soon as possible?
Challenges. I mean, there's so many different ways to do. So if we're talking about physical products, there's so many different ways to do it that if anybody would come up to me with an excuse, I could point to somebody who has that same excuse, but yet has overcome it. So I have a friend who is a single mom and has 6 kids, and she homeschools them, and she does this business and provides for her family.
Nice.
I have a friend who is she's probably in her late 50s, maybe, severe health issues. She does this all from her home behind a computer, finding product that she can sell. She has a prep center that will send it to Amazon for her. So she outsources parts of the business that she physically can't do. I have a guy that's 83 years old who does this and does it very successfully. I know, again, like I said, no teenagers. So challenges, there's really, I mean, you can do this is time constraints and money constraints are usually the biggest things. Point to people who have done it with both of those. And like I said before, if you have no money, you can do this. Do consignment, go to a garage sale, and at the end say, look at all the stuff you have left, you're about to pack up. How about I take all this for you, sell it for you, and we'll split the profits. A lot of the times they're going to be like, yeah, especially if they know you, yeah, heck yeah, get this out of here. I don't want to see this anymore. There's just so many opportunities. And if you don't have a lot of time and you have more money than time, you can hire virtual assistants to run parts of your business, search the internet for products that you can sell. So, I mean, the challenge is right up here. And it's in your mindset. That's the biggest challenge, that get over themselves and to believe that they can do it. And I feel like I'm a cheerleader of people's dreams. I tell them, you can do it. Look what Lisa did. Look what Christy did. Look what my friend Benji did. I just did a podcast episode with him. He got hit by a truck last year and shot in the chest this earlier this year. And his business still thrived through all of that because he had a system in place. So again, usually, Klaas, the challenge is it's right here. That's the biggest one. Getting them to believe that they can do it. Exactly. I know that they can. I mean, you just put a little time and effort into it. We can teach you how to make it happen.
Exactly. That's awesome. So time-wise, because you mentioned like time might be a challenge, sure, right? What are we talking about here? Like when you start off with this, we're talking about helping out the fathers that have a 9-to-5 with a lot of traffic jams, going and coming back, right? Sure. So then they want to spend a little bit of time with the family. Yeah. I know that, what's his name? Gary Vaynerchuk has like a whole calculation of how many hours you still have and blah, blah, blah. But what are we realistically talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean, you really, and I know this, not a direct answer. It really depends. You could do as much or as little as you want to. I mean, really, you can get started with 2 hours a week or 20 hours a week. Obviously, the more time you have, the faster you're going to be able to build something. But I know people who don't do anything Monday through Friday because they're busy. They get home, they're tired. The last thing that they want to do is open up their laptop and start looking for products, or they don't want to go to a Walmart or a Target or anywhere else to search for products that they can flip on Amazon. So they just do it on the weekends. And so you literally could just do this on the weekends. You could do this if you're a night owl. You could just stay up a little bit later, stay up 1 more hour a day, or get up an hour earlier, search on your computer looking for products that you can flip. So you can do it with a few hours a week. And cool thing about a lot of these businesses is people get their whole families involved. So if you're selling on Amazon, for example, there are some things that Amazon needs you to do. You can't just go to a store, pick something up and send it to Amazon. You have to, cover up the barcode with a sticker. You have to put it in a box and all that. That's all stuff. Sometimes if it's a glass item, you have to bubble wrap it or put it in a poly bag. That's things that you can have a kid do, and people get their kids involved in the business, and it becomes a family thing. The family's working towards this. So that's another reason I love this type of business, is that it's not just the dad doing this or just the mom doing this. They can all work together if they want to. And you can teach kids math, like showing, here's the price on Amazon, here's the price at the store. Is there profit here? What's the percentage? I mean, it's real life stuff. So To get back to your question, you could do this with just a couple hours a week, honestly, if that's all you have. Obviously, the more you have to invest, the faster you'll get it built up. But you can do it with just a few hours.
Awesome. Just out of curiosity, how young is your youngest, the youngest one you've helped?
Oh gosh. Me personally, let's see. I mean, I know that one of my business partners just interviewed a kid who's like 20 years old. But that's old for, I'm trying to think here.
I was going to say that's still too old. I was expecting
I have a friend named John Hogan who his 12-year-old son does this.
Oh, nice.
I didn't personally help Braden, but John did. I mean, I've taught John and John taught Braden.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. So you could teach a 12-year-old to do some of the, I mean, I'd probably even younger, honestly, some of the thinking skills that you need, comparing prices, making buying decisions. You could teach a kid to do that, but a 5-year-old could help you with prep. Like a lot of people go to retail stores to find products to sell, and you have to take those stickers off. I mean, a 5-year-old could take stickers off of boxes for you. That's, one of the worst jobs that there is in this business. And that's one that easily a kid could do and help you out with. So.
Yeah. Okay. The message you were trying to share that did not come across with me. I was like, all right, my thought was like, all right, give the crap jobs to your kids.
Right. Get the crap jobs to your kids. No, but I mean, it just gets them involved in the business. Otherwise, they're just sitting there watching TV or doing something else. You can involve them in it. And if they're anything, my son's only 2.5, so he probably not quite old enough to help with that part of it, but he loves to help around the house. Usually it ends up being more work for me when he's helping, but I love that about him, that when I take out the trash, he wants to do it with me. And so, get your kids involved.
Absolutely.
They're most of the time they're going to want to help you out because they feel like they're a part of what's going on.
Yeah. Unless you tell them all the time, like, no, I got it. And at that point, then they're like, okay, Daddy's got it. They won't want to help you anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it might take you a little bit longer, but the gratification that you get from that in the long run will definitely be helpful.
That's right. And you can pay them. A lot of times people will pay their kids in Amazon return sale or give it to your kids that have been helping you out. So that's usually a win-win there.
Exactly. I like that. That's awesome. So we were talking a lot about Amazon, eBay, Craigslist. What are other things when we take that next step? Right now, we've done like the basics and we started to make some extra money.
Sure.
We're starting to get close to being like, okay, yeah, I can let go of my job and do this full time. Are there some other online income streams that are more high end?
Yeah. So one thing people do real quick, this may not be what you're talking about high end or not, but you could continue to sell physical products. We have people that will outsource. They'll find shoppers. They'll get a warehouse space. I have a friend, Brittany and Jimmy Smith. They're in St. Louis. Kind of makes me mad. They're only 28 years old and they're selling $100,000 a month on Amazon. And they're not doing a lot of the work themselves anymore because they have hired employees to come in. And so you could have a business like theirs where it just blows up really big and you're hiring people. Some people think that's the absolute worst idea in the world. They don't want to hire employees. They don't want to have a big warehouse. That's fine too. So a couple other options are coaching and consulting. And then the other option is like building an audience, like Klaas, what you're doing with this podcast. You have fathers that look to you as an expert in how to be a father, how to be a fearless father. And so you're building your audience. And so that's the one that's really near and dear to my heart because I love helping people take something that's on their heart and get the message out. So let's say that you've gone through Amazon. Well, maybe you know how to do Amazon really well. You could write a book about your Amazon experience, how you quit your job. You could get into Amazon coaching and consulting, create a course on how you did it. Or maybe there's this topic that's been nagging you for years that, everybody always asks me about camping. We go on camping trips. They wonder how in the world we find these great spots. How do we save money on, I'm not a camper, so that might be a horrible example, but whatever your passion is, the point is, whatever your passion is, you can make money on that, with that online. Serve an audience of people who care about that same thing too. You'll get you'll get to become an expert. And when you have an audience, you can do whatever you need with it, serve them in whatever way they need. And that can end up being income for you, whether that's writing a book, creating a course. Maybe you have a mastermind related to that topic. Maybe you have live events. There's so many options. And that's the one I love to talk about with that. So we can dig into that if you want, but it's essentially just taking something that's a passion and turn it into profits.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's indeed the next step, right? So now you got your income, now you're out of your job, and now you got more time, and now it's time to find your purpose, your passion, right? Because I feel like when you're in that spot where you're like, okay, now I'm calm, I'm relaxed.
Yes.
You get into a certain, I don't know how to call it, a certain space.
Yes.
Right. A certain state. I think. Tony Robbins calls it your state, right? And how did you go about finding your purpose and your mission in life to come to this end where you're now like, okay, I want to help other fathers to be able to build their multiple online income streams so they can live the life that you're living, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a good clue for somebody what your passion is, what your purpose is what do you, when you do this, it just doesn't seem like much effort. It doesn't feel like work. It's more play. You can't tell the difference between when you're working and when you're playing. Like something like this, I'm on a podcast with you. I mean, I would say it's probably work, but it doesn't feel like this to me. Feels like we're just hanging out at a coffee shop, having a conversation. So for me, this is fun. So the line of work and play is severely blurred, in my opinion, right now. So for me, that gives me a clue that I'm doing something I feel like I should be doing. When I get up on stage and talk to people about this topic, it's fun for me. It's not a chore. Yes, it's probably technically work because I'm building my business, but it doesn't feel that way. So for your audience, guys, what do you do? What are you doing? What brings you joy? When you come home from, what do you think about throughout the day that I can't wait to get home and do this? And maybe that's hang out with your wife and your kids, but what do you do as a hobby? Well, that hobby could end up being, an income for you. Maybe you're passionate about, you're great at woodworking and you know how to do it really well. And people have asked you, how do you do this? And it's just a joy for you to talk about it with folks. That's a clue that's something that you could do to serve your fellow man. So for me, I always knew that I wanted to help people, and I didn't know what that was going to look like. I really thought, who in the world is going to buy anything that I know? Basically, who is going to pay for my knowledge? It was when the light bulb went on when I was looking. I found some wholesale sources online that I could buy and sell those products on Amazon, and it was was basically one login for all of these sites. So all you had to do was one login. You didn't have to make any phone calls, and you just literally get this online account set up and you had access to these thousands and thousands of products. So I thought other people would be interested in this. And it became a book that was called Real Wholesale Sources. So that was my entrance into selling information essentially. So do you have a trick or a tip, a strategy that's worked well for you in your business, in your life? That could be a book. What do people ask you? But when you go to a party, what are they interested in knowing about you? What can you talk about for hours without notes? Those are some clues. And it's just, you get that feeling inside like, man, I'm doing the right thing. This is fun. I'm loving it. For me, that's how you kind of know. You just follow that piece.
Exactly. And then there's so many things of how to fill that in, right? Podcasting, vlogging, writing about it. So that's absolutely perfect. Let me ask you this then. How do you make sure, because this is one of the things that I've noticed, that once you then become an entrepreneurial dad, where the big trap lies for most of them is that now instead of working the 9 to 5, with traffic, right, and hardly seeing their kids, now they're so focused on building their business, making an impact in other people's lives. Now they're even more time away from their kids because they're just, behind their laptop and just trying to make it work or grow or whatever that is, right? So how have you made sure that you kept that in balance to make sure that, your wife gets all the attention that she deserves? And now I got to look real quick. Callan, right?
Callan.
Sorry?
Callan.
Callum. Sorry, I said it
That's
wrong.
okay. Yeah, no problem at all. Callen.
Exactly.
Different name.
So how do you make sure that that stays in balance without, just.
That's good. That's a great question, and I'll be honest with you. I'm still working on that. That's because I love what I do. It means I want to do it all the time. For me, it's not like, if you if you had a job that you hate, at least you can put it on hold when you go home and you're completely there. You're not thinking about the job because you don't want to think about the job. I guess that's a benefit of having a job that you don't like, is that you can completely take it out of your mind after hours and on the weekends. For me, I love what I do. So it sometimes is a challenge to put it aside and do. So for me, things that help would be if I'm home here, and I work from home, it's easy for me to always have the computer open and be looking like I'm working and really not. So I'll tell my wife, hey, Malene, right now I'm not really working. I'm just like, I might be checking Facebook, which I have to do because I have 2 Facebook groups that I'm paid to essentially be there. So Facebook for me is not the big time waster that it is for a lot of folks. I have to be in there checking stuff. But I'll tell her if I'm not doing things that are essential. So feel free to interrupt me. So something like that. For me, it's easiest to spend time with my family if we're going to go out and do something. Go to the zoo. Like just yesterday, we went to our town square and got frozen yogurt, hung out by the fountain at the town square there, and just hung out. That's all we did. We're just hanging out. And so that's good for me to be able to get away from the house. So that's something I try to build in to do those types of things, not just be here all the time. Fortunately, here in Texas, we have pretty good weather. And so Callan and I can go walk around the neighborhood. We can go to, there's a park within walking distance. We can go to the park. I heard your podcast recently, again, or maybe it wasn't recent, but you talk about your morning routine. That's important for me to build that in, because that's where I get the strength to do what I do throughout the day. If my cup is full, then I can then be able to give out, and be the father I need to be and the husband I need to be. So yes, sometimes you start a business, you just have bought yourself a new job. You just have created yourself a new job. So the other thing then is to put systems and processes in place. Hire out those things that you don't need to be doing. Yes, at first you may be doing everything, and that's normal, but get to a point to where you hire help. It doesn't mean you have to hire a full-time person, but you can find people to do a website. You can find people that can post on social media for you. You can find people that will post your podcast up so you don't have to do that type of stuff. And yes, you probably can do those things, but your time is better spent on the things that are actually bringing in more income and the big picture thinking. So get to the spot to where you're only doing those things in your business that you can do, and I'm not there yet, honestly. It's a process, but hire out those other things, because there's people out there that can do it better, faster, and cheaper than you.
Yep, absolutely agree there. Focus on your strengths and all your weaknesses. Just make sure that somebody else does them.
Absolutely, because your weakness is somebody else's strength.
If you find the right person, yes. That's my challenge, where I'm working on right now, trying to find the right person. I've got a couple. I got an amazing copywriter at the moment that's helping me out, which you can tell.
Very good.
Tell by how he's working on it, which makes the whole lot different.
Yeah.
And yeah, what you mentioned, just the things that are so tedious, right? If that's the right word for it. Just what you say, like uploading it to the podcast, making sure that everything with YouTube is all right. I got my YouTube channel. I just plug it. It's just plug and play from Facebook. Yes. I don't feel like wasting time. Well, if I get myself an expert that I pay $4 an hour, maybe $5, and he or she will do so much better job with SEO and probably grow out into 1,000 subscribers within the next month.
Right.
Well, I've been on it for a year and I only got 100. So that's the difference, people. Right? That's a choice. And of course, everybody has their own stuff, but that's something that's definitely very important. And that's where fear comes in, right? We're so afraid of giving away something to somebody else what we already have. What's one of your ways to make sure that you recognize real quick, like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing something or give something to somebody else. However, I'm not, and my ego is telling me all kinds of excuses, right? Whether that's fear or I always think it's fear, but how do you make sure that you keep moving forward during those kind of challenging moments in your mind?
Gosh. Well, I know when I'm not doing things I should be doing, when I'm doing things I shouldn't be doing, because it's just inside, I have like an inner, just yucky feeling like this is not fun. It's a waste of my creative resources. You just inside, you feel like, this is not a good task I need to be doing. So that's my kind of, I just listen to myself. I know those things that I shouldn't be messing with, but sometimes honestly, I still do them, and I push through that, and I shouldn't. I need to be looking and speaking to everybody, and myself included, is make a list of the tasks that you do every day. Just kind of audit your day, and get detailed, down to checking your email and checking Facebook and all the things you need to do to make your business run, and look at those things and divide them up into the things that only you can do and the things that you that you could essentially find somebody else to do for you, and slowly but surely find somebody that can do those things and check them off your list, because then you'll just be more creative. You free up that brain space to be in your, what we call what my friend Dan Miller calls the zone of genius, where you're working on those things that bring you joy, that are life-giving to you. And guys, you're going to be able to serve your audience better, and your family better, if you're not constantly being stuck on these stupid little tasks that take up your time, that you feel like, man, this is such a waste, and you're not moving your business forward because you're focused on those little menial tasks they need to get done, yes, but they're not what is propelling your business forward. So yeah, for me, it's just listening to my heart, like, yeah, this is not the right task. Let's pass that off.
Sorry.
And start working on things that really matter in my business.
Yep, absolutely. Listen to your heart. Yeah, I like that one. I actually have a trick for that I use in my morning my morning routines, where I just sit quietly. It's like a meditation where I breathe and come to relax, and then ask the question, like, and just wondering, like, is this the right thing that I'm supposed to be doing? That's how I came up with becoming a fierce father. Just asking, like, look, what I was lost, right? And just asking, like, okay, what do I need to do? And then your heart tells your mind, like, dude, man, this is your path. Become a fierce father, and that's the way it came. People are like, really? Like, was it that easy? I'm like, it actually was that easy. And now I'm getting all the benefits. And
that's awesome.
So that's it, man. We got the family thing, right? You just said, like, you're still set. What are your thoughts? Because this is one of the things. Your kid's young. He's 2.5. Mine is 3 and mine is 6, right? And I'm already kind of looking in, like, okay, I would like them to do something like this, right? So they have generated an online income stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you already thinking about this for your son?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Like, what are you waiting for a certain age? I'm giving myself excuses, I think. I keep saying, like, when my boys speak enough English, that's the moment we're going to start.
That's a good question. And Klaas, you're more of an expert on being a dad than I am, because I'm behind you and I'm still learning. It's for me, just whatever, when I talk to people who are further down the road in fatherhood than I am, they say, for example, how do you know that how do you direct your kids to be a piano player or a basketball player, or they love soccer? Well, I don't necessarily want to tell Callan, you need to do this or need to do this. I want to expose him to different opportunities and see where he thrives, see where he just feels already like interested in, I want him to follow his curiosities. I want him to totally be exposed to business, but maybe that's not for him. What if he loves, like right now he has a medical kit that he loves to play with and loves, check our heartbeat and, or check our ears and our eyes. And, okay, so what if he wants to be a doctor? Well, certainly I'm not going to tell him, no, you shouldn't do that. You need to do what I'm doing. Absolutely not. I want him to do what he's called to do and follow his own path. So for me, I think that's what it's going to look like, is essentially sharing with him what I do, allow him to be involved in this. He went, I know he's young, but we were just at a conference in Indiana that I hosted, and he loved being up on stage with me. He talked, he wanted to say hello to them in the microphone. So maybe he would want to, you know, be a public speaker one day. At least that means that right now he's not very shy. So that's a good thing for business. But again, for me, it's just going to be involving him in the business, allowing him to be involved wherever he wants to be. But then if he, you know, starts to show interest somewhere else, then encourage that. You know, I want him to follow his own path. But I want to give him the opportunity to find that. And so I think it's just going to end up looking like just showing him, exposing him to lots of different things and seeing where he feels, where it looks like he's going to thrive the most. Is that what you do with your kids now?
Absolutely. But that's the key, right? We've seen so many parents where they push their kids towards a certain sport. For example, here in Spain, it's a lot soccer. As far as I know, in America, it's mostly American football and basketball, right? Because that's where the money is at. So that's
sure.
I mean, I was excited when my boy said I want to go play soccer, and then the next week he said he did, and I was a little sad.
Right.
He's still doing karate. He loves it. So I'm like, cool, just do it, right? They need to do, especially when they're that young, they need to do different kind of things to develop themselves more, both mentally and physically. So yeah, I've learned that also during all the interviews that I've done so far. So that's very important.
Yeah.
However, I do, if they don't want to or not, they're gonna have to learn how to set up multiple online income streams, because that's where the trick comes in. It's like, if you do it right, you set it up at a certain point. If you automate it, you don't have to do anything anymore. However, you get your income stream, and then you are free. You can do whatever you want and follow your passion, right? So that's definitely one of the things. And I'm going to work very early with them on how to work with money.
That's good.
How to understand it, how to divide it up, how to work it. My coach used to call it soldiers. They're money soldiers coming in, you stop them, and then you direct them to all the different areas.
I love that. Oh, that's really good. Yes.
So those are things. So that's why I always come up with this question, because I always want to know, like, what your thoughts and I totally agree with how you.
Yes, I would say it too. Like practically, on a practical level, I would say that if your kids know how to sell physical products online, that's a skill that they can take so many different ways. So maybe they never want to run a big Amazon business, but they could sell things for other people to bring money in. There's businesses that need that help. So there's always going to be opportunity if they know how to use the internet creatively to generate income. And so one of the easiest ways is selling physical products. I mean, that people here in the States, kids, you set up lemonade stands to sell lemonade to neighbors. Even little things like that, encouraging them to, like you said, work with money, know how to do it. That's an important skill. So that may not be something they do forever, but man, if they can grow a business up to by the time they graduate high school, that they already got money coming in and they can really go after what they really feel passionate about, that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I think so too. And I'm blessed that I had a couple of entrepreneurial dads on the show already with kids that are like 11, 12.
Oh, wonderful.
11-year-old has plant seeds business where he sells all kinds of different buys seeds, and then sells them. I was like, that's just amazing. And I got a friend of mine, also an entrepreneurial dad from the UK. He's got a son who is 5. No, started when he was 5. Now he's 6. He's got his own YouTube channel.
That's awesome.
And he's just doing all kinds of stuff, showing Lego cars and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely important, man. And right, I gotta say, man, I kind of want to say I'm sorry, but we reached the end already of the show. And it flew by, man. I'm so appreciative of you of hopping on and sharing all your knowledge with us and your insights. And everybody else that's been on right now, if you're on right now, make sure you show us some love, give a heart, give a thumbs up, and share this live interview with your friends. If you're watching the replay, just do the same and say #replay. We always like to hear that. Anyway, if you have any other questions for Ryan, make sure you put them in the comment section. You can answer them on a later stage. For all of you that are watching this on replays, I should say on the podcast, if you're listening to it, then just reach out to us if you have any questions. So what are, besides, and I know I messed up here, it's just ryanreger.com, people. However, if you click this link, it definitely works. What are other good ways to follow you if we have any questions?
I mean, RyanReger.com is the easy one. Streamsofincomeradio.com is my podcast and radio show site. Of course, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, just Ryan Reger on both of those, or on Instagram, it's Ryan Reger _TX for Texas. But I usually typically tell people to either go Streams of Income Radio or RyanReger.com.
Awesome. Excellent. Yeah. Again, thank you so much for being on. I had a blast, and I really learned a lot again, so I really appreciate that. Everybody else, again, thank you so much. We'll be on again next week. Same time, same place.
Awesome.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.